Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Rob, and as you can tell based off of the thumbnail, we're adding the new Karcept front bar, Perrin rear sway bar, and the Jackson Racing anti-dive kit. And the car's already on white line front and rear sway bars, and they were great. They actually helped me cut 4 seconds at Sebring off my lap time. And I know it's not 100% the bars, but they give me the confidence to kind of push the car harder in the corners and netted me, a faster lap time. So as the car starts to develop and I get faster and faster and, tires get stickier, I want a thicker bar, or stiffer bar I should say, to help with the loads of the tire, the high spring rates that I have, and some Hoosiers, but we'll talk about that on another video. So let's get into the install. Using the .875 bar, I'm actually the first person to use his sway bar with the Fortune 510 coilovers. We took a bunch of measurements to hopefully it clears, because I can't return it. And this is the bar itself here. Pretty fancy. So that's going to be for the front. And this is the 25mm rear bar with the adjustments here. And I believe the ones I have on the car are like a 20, 22 in the front, or I think 18 or 20 in the rear. So again, we're just going for a thicker, stiffer bar, just for stickier tires, and more brakes too, but we'll get into that in another video. Alright, so they just released these for the 2nd gen. I don't know if they changed anything. I doubt it, because the box actually says for 13 and up, so, But anyway, these are the anti-dive. Looks like we have some spacers for it. So, your sway bar / anti-roll, so as you're steering the car, we don't get that body roll. And these are gonna help mainly with braking, kind of keep the car level in the front. Alright, now that we got the front wheel off, you can see the white line sway bar. We got the end link, so we're going to be swapping all this stuff out. Basically, we're just going to loosen up a couple bolts under here, drop everything as a whole, bolt the sway bar back to, I don't know if you would call that the subframe, but bolt it back up. Make sure the adjustment for the end link is correct, because as you can see, it's already pretty close now to touching, and this is at full droop. So I believe you want all the droop you can get without touching, so and it's pretty close. All right, now that we got the white line sway bar removed, time to install the Karcepts one. We're probably gonna wanna flip this upside down and screw this in. Take your bolt and then screw it in. Use all the factory hardware and just snug it. Don't make it really tight, because in the directions it says to keep kind of everything loose so it kind of floats around. So once you have everything in here kind of finger tight, you want to be able to pull the sway bar back towards the rear of the car. And the goal is just to kind of add some clearance with the steering rack here. All right, so next step, you want to just install, just loosely, just putting it on the sway bar arm and just kind of move it up and down and make sure, you know, nothing's bound up or anything, and then tighten the main, you know, bracket here that holds the sway bar with the included 17mm socket. So now that everything is tight and torqued down, we want to measure this spindle here on each side. So this should already be loose, and I measured just past 7/8 on each side, and then you tighten down this to 11 foot-pounds. We're gonna take some anti-seize and make sure we get every tooth, because we're gonna slide the arms over the spindle. Now that we slid the arms on, I just basically have it pretty much touching on both sides, so I know it's pretty close to each other. Obviously we don't want them touching so we can move it, but I know that side's the same as this side because they both touch. Get the end lengths to fit in there. You know, it says you kind of measure it at, you know, 8 inches and 1/8. But that was just too long for my setup. It won't make it in the 4th hole. I need this shortened. Probably a 1/4 inch would help out. 1/2 inch would be nice. So on the third stiffest hole, it clears it, but it won't make it. Touches in the 4th hole. So I'm not gonna really. I don't want to raise the car or do anything like that. Maybe if I can, I can probably, you know, maybe grind some of this off. I really don't want to do that. Actually, this end length, the white line is perfect, because if you look here, it's a little bit shorter, but I have to use this for his sway bar. If not, I would have just swapped these in there. But like I said, if I can get the white line end length to go in there, it would clear and everything would be great. End lengths are tight, top and bottom. Again, on the 3rd hole, that's torqued tight. I wiped off all the anti-seize. I just gotta grease the fittings there, you know, pushing these little clips, and that's it. Yeah, there it is. It's got the same distance on both sides. You want to double check to make sure, you know, I got a little bit sticking out here and the same on the other side. Everything's super tight. Make sure, you know, your jam nuts, everything's tight. And that's it. On to the rear bar. Let's see how it looks with the wheel on. You can see it in there. But the front's done, so now we're gonna move to the back. All right, so pretty straightforward. We're just gonna loosen up the end link, because we're still gonna use the white line one. Because I have all this extra bracing, we gotta loosen up this, probably that, and these 2 bolts, and those 2, and we'll pull it out. Alright, now that the rear bar is out, I actually had to loosen up the coilover bolt here because there's so much force holding the inlay bolt in, but it came out not too bad. It probably would have been easier if I unbolted the exhaust, but you know. We do things the hard way. So we probably went a little overkill, but you know, that's how I like to do everything. I had the white line on the stiffest setting. So the further you go out, the softer the bar gets. The closer you come in, the stiffer it gets. Because this bar is almost 10 millimeters thicker than this bar, I'm gonna start on the softest setting and work my way in. So now that we got everything greased up, we're gonna throw the bushings on and get it installed. I might have to loosen the exhaust. So I'm gonna remove this part of the exhaust, and hopefully it gives me enough room to get the sway bar in. So the bar's in, we just gotta put the hardware in it, and you had to move the exhaust. I basically just slid it up and then rotated the bar down. All right, she's in, boys and girls. We just gotta tighten it up. Finish putting in some of the hardware. So if you're ever wondering what these cars look like without the exhaust on it, I'm gonna cut the plastics out one day. Time to put the exhaust on. All right, front and rear bars are now installed. We're gonna take the final view from the back and then install the anti-dive kit in the front. And here's the Jackson Racing anti-dive kit. Oh yeah, baby. Made in the USA. The bolt that holds the lower control arm to the cross member. And then we're gonna move on to this guy here. Now we're going to take out that guy. Alright, so now that we have this kind of hanging freely here, still kind of tight. So those were both 19s. These were 17 back here, and I believe this is a 15 millimeter wrench. We'll loosen that up, and then we're gonna slide the spacer above this stud so it actually hangs lower. Ooh. Not too bad. She's a little tight, but don't be scared of her. Now we're going to install this spacer on top and throw it back in. Alright, now that we got the spacer up here, we can go ahead and reinstall everything. Alright. But we're going to reinstall the 17mm here for the cross member. I only put that nut there to hold it just in case this was going to slide off. Alright, we'll keep that somewhat loose and then put the bracket on here. And these are also torqued to 81 foot-pounds. Make sure you can see the American flag and the logo facing the bottom. Alright, this is going to be 63 foot-pounds. So this is it installed on this side. So you see the spacer up there, the new bracket here. So basically it kind of changes the suspension geometry by keeping the car more level under braking. So hopefully it shouldn't dive as hard. I'm hoping. We'll find out. Take a quick look on this side. Kind of hard to tell. Tie dives in. It wasn't too bad actually. It was actually really easy. Easier than doing the sway bars. Putting the wheels back on, lower the car, let's take it for a test drive. Dirty, sweaty, an absolute mess, but I'm gonna go test out the bars and stuff, make sure I don't hear any clunking. I know when you don't tighten up the end links all the way, they will make some noises that will freak you out. So we're just gonna go test that and, I don't know, see if she's stiff. So far so good. I can tell there's an improvement. And I don't have the rear bars in the middle, the front bar can't max out. I just need to either get a shorter end link or shorten the ones that I have. But if I don't need to go there, I'll just keep it, you know, where it's at. I really won't know the performance until I'm on track. But I mean, it's stiff. I feel like I move more in the seat. It's I don't know. I feel like it's a little more darty, if that makes sense. It's almost like when you have a set of 17-inch wheels and then you put 18s and there's less